Rare Breed Entertainment, Lift It Soul 4. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to get into everything with an in the building recap. Welcome to the Battle Room.
Don't you, baby, don't you, don't you, baby, don't you, don't you, don't you, don't you, don't you, don't you, baby, don't you, don't you, baby, don't you, don't you, don't you, don't you, don't you.
So RBE's Lift It Soul 4 went down this past Saturday. First off, I want to shout out RBE. I feel like they've been producing quality, creative, innovative content for the culture for years at this point. And I was excited and honored to be in the building at an RBE event for the first time. I was one of the first, like, maybe 50 to 100 people in the building. And as soon as I got in the venue, I went in the front just because I wanted to have that good of a vantage point to see everything, me being in the building. I wanted my money's worth, you know what I'm saying? It was a packed venue, wall-to-wall people. I'm pretty sure it might have been like 200 to 300 people in there by the end of the night, man. So once again, salute to RBE for having a successful event. The first two battles of the night were the 1SKs. We had Kush Cloud versus Chip Gambino and Truth Watson versus Hayes the Gift. Kush Cloud versus Chip Gambino. Both of these guys were wordplay guys, but in two different ways. Chip Gambino volunteered to go first, and off the rip, I noticed that he was a schemer. Like, he used his wordplays in terms of schemes most of the time, whereas Kush Cloud was, as Chip Gambino made an allusion to, he's pretty much a carbon copy of QP, and I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but it's just the only way I can think of to properly identify his style of, like, breaking down the syllables and double meanings behind his words. Like, his whole style shouts QP, quantum physics QP. The battle was a good one. It was pretty close. I didn't really have a winner in particular. You know, for me, it's hard to judge one-rounders unless somebody really stands out, versus the other person, which is kind of what happened with the second 1SK battle. Hayes the Gift versus Truth Watson. Hayes the Gift came out aggressive, and he had a really dope presence. He has one of those, like, rapper voices. Like, if you ever listen to Helter Skelter and you're familiar with rock, he has a voice like that, which to me, like, just makes your material come out that much more dope. Like, you can pretty much say anything and it sounds good, you know what I mean? Hayes got to a point in this round where he set a bar, and I think he got crowd reaction, and I think it might have threw him off, and it was kind of noticeable that he was about to choke, so he just cut his round at the end of it. My favorite line from Hayes was, he said something like, "I'll let truth talk to the arm that's a smartwatch," or something like that. I thought that was pretty dope. Truth Watson came out, and his style is a lot more lyrical, a lot more versatile. He went from punchlines to wordplay to jokes. He had a full arsenal, of battle rap qualities that you can present, He had a Lim Bias line where he said he's messing the gift up like Lim Bias with the coke lines or something like that. He had a crazy Cool Runnings bar that I feel like most of the people around me or in the building didn't really catch. But it was something similar to, RBE, the whole roster on thin ice, like Cool Runnings or something like that. Truth, that was fire, bro. Fire. Truth ended up choking in his round. But he eventually got it back. He didn't want to cut his round, I guess, because he had a lot more material from where he started choking at. And he went on for maybe twice as long as Hayes the Gift, and he had a lot of material that hit well with the crowd. So the vibe in the building was that even though it was a one-round battle where both artists choked, Truth came out with the better performance, and made the best impression on the crowd. So if anyone was to be favored in this battle, it would be Truth Watson. Next battle up was Heavy Half versus Nice. Nice wins the coin toss and Heavy Half goes first. And Heavy's first round was his best round of the night. he was aggressive, explosive. The flow switches were stupid. Like Heavy Half, if you ever happen to see this, bro, keep doing that. When you switching the flow, like, to me that adds a whole nother dimension to your style, man. But between those things, the aggression, the flow switches, the powerful delivery, like all of that led to a monstrous first round for Heavy Half. And it kind of looked like if he was gonna have 3 rounds of that it might be a long night for Nice, you know what I'm saying? Because Heavy Half was saying that was his lightest round. Rappers, y'all gotta stop saying that the first round is your lightest round, and then your next 2 rounds don't be as good as your first round. Like, why do y'all do that, man? Y'all setting yourselves up. Nice's material is pretty much all wordplay and lyricism in the realm of street rap, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Nice makes music or not, but Nice has the type of material that could go over well over a beat. Like, I'd be interested to hear Nice over a beat, if that makes sense. On top of that, he raps with a lot of conviction, and I think he was at his best in the second round. After having a solid first, you know, he didn't match up to Heavy Half's first round. And I think the inverse happened in the second, where Heavy Half, he had a solid second round, but Nice second round was just way too much, you know what I'm saying? So, also, shout out to Nice. I feel like he had my favorite bar of the night. I'm not going to sit here and butcher it because I don't remember it word for word, and he didn't run it back because I don't think a lot of people caught it in the building. But it was like a split the bill, half and split the bill, but then it was tied into like bill collector, like with the Hitman Holler incident. Like it was crazy, bro. And the fact that nobody caught it made it that much more crazy to me, because I can't wait to see that back on footage. The third round wasn't really super impressive from either one of them. From what I remember, I think Heavy Half, he started off kind of slow and then picked up, you know, in the middle of his round and ended strong. Nice just he was kind of coasting on like the same level. He didn't really turn up or, you know, anything like that at any point. So it's hard to remember any like peak moments. I think the consensus in the building was 2-1 Heavy Half. But it's a battle that when it comes out on cam, it'll probably have a lot of people debating on who won based on who you preferred in the third round. Next battle on the card was Show Off versus Loso. The start of this battle was interesting. We had Loso on stage, and we thought that we didn't have Show Off on stage because, you know, he had an antic basically that he didn't want to reveal until the battle started, but that ended up not working out for him, and he had to, you know, come out anyway because he lost the coin toss that he wasn't even there for. So Show Off comes out and he's dressed as the Grim Reaper, and he's doing his mic check and he's saying like the Lord's Prayer and stuff like that. So it's obvious that he's playing into the theme of, you know, the heaven versus hell battle. Like, he was playing into the theme of that tremendously. And I guess now we realize why he picked Loso for his comeback battle, because he had a whole scheme planned out for basically the entire battle. Show Off comes out in his first round. He's, you know, clever, lyrical, you know what I'm saying, standard Show Off, but it's all based around the angles, so the presentation is really different. I think Show Off was really in Loso's head, like in the first round, because I think Loso came out with this idea that he's just gonna not say anything, like in response to the lines that Show Off was saying, but Show Off pretty much made him say whatever he wanted him to say, like in response to what Show Off was rapping. You know, he'll say, basically, you know, you a Christian, do you claim the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and this, that, and the third? And, you know, and Loso wasn't saying anything. And Show Off would say, you gonna let being a battle rapper stop you from being a Christian? Like, do you accept the Lord and this, that, and the third? To the point where Loso was backed into a corner and kind of had to say yes every time Show Off said that in the first round. And I thought that was fire. Like, it's not even a bar, but just the mental warfare aspect of battle rap, getting somebody to completely abandon what they came into the battle thinking that they were going to do, I think is fire. I wish he would have explored that more in terms of his lyricism, because I think that might have made the first round more debatable. Loso comes out in the first round and completely spazzes. Obviously, his wordplay and cadence and crowd control, like, all of that was obviously, you know, up there because that's what Loso does. But really, he was punching heavy in the first round, where it was like back to back to back, you know what I'm saying? And it was mixed with the wordplay and everything, so everything was hitting in the crowd. And Loso came out, and I don't want to say that he smoked Show Off in the first round, because that would make it seem like Show Off had a bad round. And it wasn't that. It's just Loso's round was that good. So it was definitely 1-0 going into the second round. I think Show Off knew that was the vibe in the building, because he came out in the second round and turned up. This was probably Show Off's best round of the battle, in my opinion. I feel like his conviction and his aggression in the second round, in addition to all of the things that he was doing in the first round, really made the case for, you know, having a debatable battle going into the third. I write it, they love it, and you tell me it's God-given. Loso comes out in the second round. He had a solid round, but it wasn't as impressive as his first. And on top of that, his round got cut because of time. So the round didn't come off how Loso probably wanted it to. And I think that played into Show Off having his best round of the battle so far. So going into the third, it was 1-1 for sure. In the third round, Show Off takes off the Grim Reaper outfit, and he has on a suit underneath of it, and says that he's going to battle God. He goes into a whole scheme of, like, you know, why our baby's stillborn, and, you know, this, that, and the third. And he's, like, literally looking up and, you know, asking these different questions or whatever the case is. It went over pretty well. The whole angle, the whole third round went over pretty well. Show Off ended his round with, he shook Saga's hand and said that he accepted, you know, Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. And then he rips off like a clip-on tie that he has and does a Psych Out Live. Like, it was a pretty big moment in the third round, man. And it was a great way for him to close out his return battle. Loso comes out in the third round, and it's more of the same in terms of what his material was like from the first two rounds. But I think he elevated back up to where his first round was. It was just too many bars, man. It was just too many bars. As good as Show Off's angle was, and as good as it came off in the crowd, Loso just had too much. And, like, it's kind of the same thing I said where Snake Eyes was doing the Mac Mel on the Survivor Series card. When you just have that much dope material and you get to get all of it out, it's just applying so much pressure to your opponent, because you just going back to back to back. It's like the same reason that Big K used to be winning a lot of battles, or D-Magic used to win a lot of battles, because when you're constantly hitting somebody that hard and they have an angle, that angle has to be super strong to negate, you know, the constant back-to-back wordplay, punchlines, everything hitting like that in the crowd, because he's constantly getting reaction throughout his entire round. The consensus in the building was that Loso won 2-1. I can see people giving Show Off the third round also, though, just based on the bigger reactions, I guess you could say. But I'm in agreement with everybody else who was saying that Loso won the battle. There's just too many bars, man. Too many bars. Charlie Clips and DNA versus Young Cannon and Big Cannon. In my notes for this battle, I honestly didn't write too much, because this battle was a clear 3-0. I'm going to just hop out and say that from the gate. It was a clear 3-0. Shout out to Young Cannon and Big Cannon, but Clips and DNA just overpowered and outclassed them in every way. And honestly, Clips and DNA probably had the best performance of the night. Young Cannon and Big Cannon went first, and pretty much how it went was the Cannons would have a solid round, and then Clips and DNA would just come out and just wash their round, and then that was the back and forth the entire time. So at no point was it debatable. Going into the third round, you had people walking to the bar and, you know, going to the bathroom or going to smoke or whatever the case is, because the battle was over. Clips and DNA, they pretty much came out, and I mean, they had bars and everything, but they were kind of joking them out, and that won the crowd over. And when they did throw their serious, heavy-hitting bars out there, it was received that much better because they already had the crowd in the palm of their hands, despite, you know, Big Cannon being the, you know, the RBE favorite or whatever the case is. DNA brought up the whole transsexual angle, you know, with Young Cannon. If you're familiar with battle rap and you've been following for a while, then you probably already know, like, that was an old angle in the past or whatever, but DNA brings it up, and Big Cannon tries to rebuttal it, and he says, it's okay if he like trannies because da-da-da-da-da-da. And Young Cannon is like, what? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the beginning of their second round, and everything was just downhill from there, man. Like, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Charlie Clips was fire in this battle, like completely fire. This wasn't a situation where, you know, DNA carried the 2-on-2 with freestyling or anything. Him and Clips was both freestyling, and they came to the battle with written material. Like, their rounds might have been like 6-7 minutes long, each of them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they got paid from ARP. I don't know, but salute to them for coming that prepared, man, and just having that much dope material. They really put on the show. Like, I'm thankful that I actually witnessed that in person. Can I get a can-alleluia? Can I get a can-alleluia? Since you feeling yourself, I might as well put a cannon through you. Like, 3-0 Clips DNA. The next battle of the night was the first grudge match of the card. John the Don versus Big K. This battle was tense from the gate. Like, John's opening words, Big K was basically, you know, mumbling, you know, through his rounds or whatever, and John is like, you know, don't talk while I'm rapping, and it almost got physical right from the jump. You know what I'm saying? I think all in all, this battle really played up into the hype as far as it being a real grudge match. They had to be separated, you know, at least like 2 to 3 times throughout the whole battle. And then even after the battle, like, they were talking about going around the alley and, you know, this, that, and the third, and like it seemed like they really did not like each other. I feel like John purposely showed up with no glasses. Like, I don't know if he had contacts in or what, but it looked like both of them looked like they was ready for whatever to go down, to be honest with you. The battle was a great back and forth. I was really in tune to just listening to the battle, trying to get a good feel of who I felt like won the battle. So I don't really have bars written down, but in terms of how the rounds broke down, I think John, he had a solid first round. His second round was fire, and his third round was like approaching where his second round was, but he got cut off. You know what I'm saying? And there was a whole dispute about that too. I don't know how that's going to look in the footage, but his round didn't end well at all. And that was another instance when they were, you know, had to be separated basically. On Big K's side of it, he came out and had a fire first round, and I think the consensus was that he clearly won that. His second round was kind of and the consensus was that John took that clearly because of how fire his round was. And Big K's third round, it was dope, but it was really, really short, to the point where when he was saying his slogan, he was like halfway looking at the time on ARP's phone. Like, I don't even think he went 2 minutes in that last round, man. So because he didn't really have a lot of material, I feel like John might have edged the third round and won the battle 2-1. But it'll be a goodie when it comes out on cam, and I'm sure that it'll be people that feel like both sides were the victor. So, all in all, I think it was possible that that's battle of the night, and I'm glad that that battle didn't turn physical because it looked like at 2 or 3 different times that it could have. So salute to both of them for maintaining composure to at least get through the battle and keep it professional. Speaking of getting through a battle and keeping it professional, Goodz versus Jimz, main event of the card, is the battle that has been built up for years that everybody's there to see. Honestly, I don't have any notes for this battle. I did not write down one thing. The battle itself was very lackluster from both sides. I think Goodz probably edged the first round. I think Jimz might have edged the second round. There wasn't really any creative angles or any dope, like, fire material from either one. Like, I was really disappointed in both of their performances. Like, I kind of could expect that from Goodz. Like, you know, Goodz probably don't really care about a Jimz battle. To keep it 100, he probably don't really care. It's not to say that he purposefully, like, prepared average material, but I don't think that Goodz was motivated to really come up with anything super fire for Jimz. Like, none of this material was even close to how his material came off for T-Top, or, you know what I'm saying, you go back for past Goodz battles and, like, you know, even his energy, he didn't have no energy. He never got aggressive. He never, you know what I mean? It was just blah. Like, it was a blah performance. And then the same thing for Jimz, man. Like, for somebody who said that this battle would be his best performance ever, like, it wasn't. And it wasn't that the crowd was sleeping. Like, Jimz said that Goodz, like, had the power to make the crowd not want to cheer to an extent. Like, it wasn't that. It's just nothing that y'all was saying was hot. You know what I mean? People stayed until the end of the event. Mind you, it's, you know, approaching 8:30, 9 o'clock when the venue was promoted to be over at 7. But people stayed, you know what I'm saying, because they wanted to see that battle. And y'all wasn't giving us anything to really make us hype. There was no real exposing. There was no super angles. There was no, like, y'all on stage arguing about who was more lyrical in this battle. Like, really? Nobody won this battle, man. The fans got 3-0. Like, I've seen people say that before, but I feel like it's been no truer than it is right now for this battle. Like, the fans lost 3-0, period. The battle was a dud. The battle was a dud. And to top it all off, it ends with a fight. By now, I'm sure that y'all have seen the footage of the fight. You know, it seems like battle rap fans only care about controversy nowadays, so I'm sure y'all know more about that fight than y'all know about anything else that happened on the card, and that's cool. Not really, but it's whatever. To give a full context of what happened, from my point of view, being in the front of the building, this is what happened. It's on Goodz in the third round, the bottom of the third round. So the battle was literally almost over. And Goodz says a bar where he says, "You begged me to get this battle put on URL." Jimz immediately says, "You're lying." Goodz says, "I put that on my daughter." Jimz again says, "You're lying about that." Now, for those who might be new battle rap fans or who haven't followed Goodz over the years or don't know anything about Goodz, his daughter is a very sensitive topic for him, which is to be understood. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a father. I don't have any kids, but I know how protective I am over some of my family members now, and I could understand, you know, being that protective or that sensitive about someone that you literally brought into the world. So after Jimz maintains that Goodz was lying, Goodz says, lying about what? And that's when, you know, in the footage you see him lean in. Lying about what? And Jimz says, lying about what you just said. When did I say that? I don't know what Goodz heard from that, but I'm guessing Goodz heard you're lying about putting it on your daughter. Whereas to me, it seems like Jimz was saying, you're lying about what you just said about me begging you to get this battle on URL. And when did I say that to you? After that is when Goodz throws the first punch and a complete melee breaks out on stage. The footage that y'all see didn't even capture the entire like madness of what was going on stage. Like everybody on stage pretty much was either fighting or trying to break the fight up. And it was just a really bad look, man. Like, to be honest, I don't know that this battle was going to come out. Because it's not like the material was that good. And then on top of that, for it to end like this, like, I don't see how they would put out the full 3 rounds without including that at the end of it. I don't know if people realize, like, Club Drum is RBE's home. You know what I'm saying? That's where they have their events at the majority of the time. So it's possible that they just lost the venue. On top of that, Lift It Soul 4 was a great event. My opinion on the situation, I feel like I could see it from both perspectives. I can't say that Jimz was telling the truth or not, but based on the video that Goodz put out on Saturday night after the fight, I mean, he pretty much said that Jimz kind of mentioned it like in passing, that their battle would be dope on URL. Him mentioning that it would be dope on URL is not the same thing as him begging you for the battle to happen on URL. On top of that, like, and this is something that I've seen other people say also, but I don't think people are saying it enough. Jimz didn't mention Good's daughter at all. You know what I'm saying? Even when he had the opportunity to, he could have said, you're lying on your daughter. He could have said that verbatim. But he didn't. He specifically didn't say that. And Goodz was the one who brought his daughter up in the situation. He said, I put that on my daughter. And what is Jimz supposed to do in that situation? Is he supposed to just say, oh, well, you put your daughter on it, and I know how you feel about people talking about your daughter, so I'm going to just all of a sudden say that you telling the truth? Like, you know what I mean? I also see people saying, you know, Jimz shouldn't have been talking during Goodz round. But you got to realize, like, they both were talking through each other's rounds the entire battle. Like, Goodz was doing it first, like, but to a lesser extent. Like, he might have been, you know what I'm saying, talking to people behind him or whatever. Like, maybe not necessarily talking into the mic, but he was doing all type of stuff. The same type of stuff that T-Top was getting upset at. You know what I mean? And to me, it looked like Jimz started doing more of it as the rounds went on because he saw that Goodz wasn't going to stop doing it. So I can't say that if, you know, Jimz wasn't talking during Goodz round, then this wouldn't have happened because Goodz was talking through his rounds before that. So I don't see how it's fair to hold one person to a certain standard without holding the other person to that same standard. You know what I mean? Overall, it's just a really bad look for battle rap. It's a bad look for battle rap. It's a bad look for RBE. And at some point, man, we gotta clean this stuff up. Like everything that has come to fruition over the past couple months to a year in battle rap, if these things become the norm, it's a wrap. Like, it's a wrap for battle rap. Imagine being somebody who bought a stage pass for this event to end up having to be on stage involved or that close to a melee. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as to me, if I'm ARP, I'm thinking, damn, man, I might have lost my venue. I might have people who was willing to buy stage passes that will never buy stage passes again. I might have people who came to the event that might never come back to an RBE event again because of how it ended. I don't know what his opinion of the situation is, but like, it's just a very, very unfortunate ending to an event that was otherwise dope in all facets, man. And the worst part about it is this fight is going to overshadow everything. I just hope that, you know, at some point, battle rap culture is able to move forward and maybe there's more structure put in place for battlers and consequences put in place for what happens when things like this happen. I don't know, man, but overall, I had a great time being in the building. I appreciate RBE, ARP, shout out to Lawrence, everybody involved for putting on a dope event. And I'm sad and upset that it ended this way and that this is the biggest headline to come from a card that was so fire and so well put together. I appreciate you watching this video. If you feel like it, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more dope battle rap content to come in the future. My name is Stan, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.